All right, guys, I got a good one for you. We're looking at Medea's first long speech on pages 8 and 9. And she is talking directly to the women of Corinth, which is huge because these are like essentially the chorus, right? It's made up of a group of Corinthian women, and she is appealing to these women, all right? So I'm going to go through a couple of important parts and then call it a day. All right, so she starts, "Women of Corinth, I have come outside to you, lest you should be indignant with me. For I know that many people are overproud, some when alone and others when in company. And those who live quietly, as I do, get a bad reputation." All right, so what does she do? What is she doing? She's establishing who she is. She's talking about herself being an outsider. It's huge that she talks about, because I live quietly and alone, I get a bad reputation. All right. For just judgment is not evident in the eyes when a man at first sight hates another before learning his character, being in no way injured. All right, so this is where it gets juicy. "And a foreigner especially must adapt himself. I not approve of even a fellow countryman who by pride and want of manners offended his neighbors." So, if you remember, Medea is in fact a foreigner. All right, she is trying to appeal to this group of women. She's trying to explain herself. She's trying to get them on her side. And thus far, I think she's presenting a pretty sentimental appeal to these women. But on me, this thing has fallen so unexpectedly. It has broken my heart. I am finished. I let go all my life's joys. My friends, I only want to die. Okay, so what is she talking about, all my life's joys? I don't know. Maybe half of the families she left behind are killed in order to help Jason. "It was everything to me to think well of one man, and he, my own husband, has turned out wholly vile. Of all things which are living and conform a judgment, we women are the most unfortunate creatures." All right, this is a good rhetorical appeal. She is relating herself specifically to these women. Although she's presented herself as a foreigner and someone that's misunderstood and should be shunned for some of her actions, she is still relating to these women because women in this time period would be lesser. Right. "Firstly, with an excess of wealth, it is required for us to buy a husband and take for our bodies a master. For not to take one is even worse." All right. So essentially, I got to get married or it's real bad. People judge me even more. "And now the question is serious, whether we take a good or bad one. For there is no easy escape for a woman, nor can she say no to her marriage." All right. So these are the customs. You got to get married. If you're lucky, you get a good one. If you're unlucky, you end up like Medea. "She arrives among new modes of behaviors and manners and needs prophetic power unless she's learned at home how best to manage him who shares the bed with her." All right, this is interesting. You guys need to pay attention to this because you'll see this idea come up later. How best to manage him. Okay, so she's relating like, you can have a marriage and it can be okay as long as you've learned how to handle a man. And it depends what kind of man you end up with. "And if we work out all this well and carefully, and the husband lives with us and lightly bears his yoke, then life is enviable. If not, I'd rather die. A man, when he's tired of the company in his home, goes out of the house and puts an end to his boredom and turns to a friend or companion of his own age." So you make of that what you will. But we as in Medea and the women, are forced to keep our eyes on one alone. Okay, so though he may have a wandering eye, Odysseus, the women must not. Okay, they must be faithful. They must, that's it. "What they say of us is that we have a peaceful time living at home." Okay, so the they in this is going to be men. We get to live at home while they go fight in war. They're wrong. Okay. "I would very much rather stand 3 times in the front of battle than bear one child," which this is very interesting. It is, in fact, only a woman's ability to have a child. So for Medea to say she would rather go to war than experience having a child, this is important. Okay, so what does she mean by this? You'll find out. "Yet what applies to me does not apply to you." Okay, you being the Corinthian women. You have a country, okay? Remember, Medea left hers. Your family home is here. This is not her family home. You enjoy life in the company of your friends. Homegirl has no friends, okay? "I'm deserted, a refugee, thought nothing of. by my husband, something he won in a foreign land. Yeah, because he did. I have no mother or brother, nor any relation with whom I can take refuge in this sea of woe. This much, then, is the service I would beg from you. If I can find the means or devise any scheme to pay my husband back for what he has done to me, him and his father-in-law and the girl who married him, just to keep silent. For in other ways, a woman is full of fear, defenseless, dreads the sight of cold steel. But when once she is wronged in the matter of love, no other soul can hold so many thoughts of blood. All right. Maybe this is where the birth of that old saying, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, because Medea has made her appeals to the women. She's presented her case, and she has essentially laid out that if she can get back at these people, she will do that. All right, so that's your speech summary of today. Go back through. My advice would be to go back through and look at the different types of appeals. When is she, establishing her credibility? When is she appealing to the women's emotions? When is she being logical about these things? Okay, that'll be helpful for your summative.